Hello everyone, this is Man of Plastic here, back with another figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Tonson Art Toys 05A Warped Vengeance. Now, of course, it's just, that's for the copyright reasons. This is just a Trunks, a tank top Trunks, which is my personal favorite version of Trunks. Comment down below which one you guys prefer. Car. It's so much noise all the time. Like, I try to keep the noise to a minimum so you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. But it's pretty hard sometimes. You need like a very isolated place almost to like do figure reviews, and it kind of sucks when you don't have one. But regardless of that, anyways, comment down below which version of Trunks you guys like the most. I'm between tank top Trunks or just, first appearance Trunks with his jacket on, which is not too much of a difference, but still. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this figure. Ironically enough, I want to say that I wasn't sure I was actually going to get this figure, right off the bat, because I was debating between Demoniacal Fit and this one. The SH Figure Arts that was shown at the, Anime Expo in Japan back in 2025. We have no idea when that's going to release. There hasn't even been an announcement. So, I guess a little bit of impatience that I had. I just wanted to get my hands on a Trunks figure, especially this one, because this is almost like a holy grail in the DBZ figure community. Because a lot of people like this Trunks. So, I'm pretty sure this version, specifically this color scheme, is already sold out on a couple stores. If I can find it, I'll put links in the description, of course, if you guys want to purchase. I will mention if they're affiliate or not. Regardless, I appreciate you guys, if you do purchase anything through my links, I really appreciate it. But, more talking points later on in the video. We'll get into if it's a worthy purchase or not later on. But regardless of that, let's go ahead and get into the box so I can show you guys what is in here. Okay, and here are all the accessories. Also, sorry if you guys hear any extra noise. It's kind of windy. Very weird weather here where I'm at. It tends to get kind of crazy sometimes in like early of the year, every single year. So the weather's kind of unpredictable. So I'm trying to record with as minimal noise as possible, but all the wind isn't helping. But let's continue. So in terms of accessories, I want to say right off the bat, is the value there? Yes. Now, I want to say, in terms of the accessories, some of it can be preference, because I do want to mention, Demoniacal Fit, I'll actually throw up a picture here. As you can see, actually does come with different accessories. Not too many of them are different, but some of them are different enough where maybe it will persuade you to go, a different route rather than this Tonson Trunks. I do want to say though, keep in mind both of these Trunks figures, the DF and the Tonson one, which is the one I have, are actually very different in terms of like art style, sculpt, proportion. So keep in mind that the figures themselves, from an artistic standpoint, are nowhere near the same. But in terms of preference, you guys can go either way. I'm, of course, still have to check the DF Trunks, which I actually might not get. But this is the route I chose to go with. I chose to go with Tonson because I know that at least most of the time it is at least what you get what you pay for, is what I'm trying to say. But regardless of that, let's actually go check the accessories now. Sorry, we're gonna have to fiddle with the light a little to make sure nothing looks too dark. But okay, here we go. So, in terms of accessories, right off the bat, you get two different, or technically three different head sculpts. One of them is Super Saiyan, which is already on the body. So you get three different head sculpts, and you get 8 faces here, plus one on the Super Saiyan already. So you get 9 faces, 3 for Super Saiyan, and 6 for base form. You get his hands in his pockets. You get this little thing, which is like a clip for the accessory, actually, that is right here. You can tell this one right here is the one with the inserts for the clip, and this one is for the sword specifically. So you get those. You get right here the sword strap, You can get the sheath and the sword. You get 8 hands. Actually, no. You get 10 hands, and then you get the jacket accessory. Now, let's talk about the accessories here specifically for this figure. Do I think the value is there? I think so, yes. As I had mentioned, there is a bit of preference at play here in terms of what you want for your accessories. However, I do find that with this figure specifically and what it comes with, I am satisfied with the accessories. I don't have many complaints. One of the complaints for the Gojiras from Kamione, which is, it's the same company, it's just, copyright reasons, was that some of the accessories were the same. So, there was not a whole lot of variety in terms of accessories between both figures and within the set itself. I think they should have swapped out like the crossed arms for something else, or, honestly, not really any complaints here. The accessories are good. You get a variety of different things, and you definitely get what you pay for. Those slash effects are actually very worth it. Now, that was it for the accessories. Let's go ahead and take out Trunks so we can show him off right here in the light booth. Okay, and here he is. I know not, I want to say something really quickly. I know not every video tends to go the same, like I use the same zoom and focus, because I am going to work on trying to get a different setup, maybe with different lighting or like a more dynamic light source, so I don't have to be constantly moving the lamp around, because right now I only have a lamp with a very bendy neck, so there's that. So yeah, look forward to maybe a different setup sometime soon. I'm definitely gonna try to work on getting that in order. But anyways, here he is. Right off the bat, I want to say, if you guys are just purely looking for just aesthetic, like that's all you care about is the aesthetic of the figure, you will be happy with this 100%. Something I want to talk about right off the bat before I go into the articulation is the muscle mass. Like, look at this guy. Like, look at him. He is pretty beefy. Like, there's not really anything to say about it. He is beefy. He's like a bit. He's been hitting the gym a lot more than standard Trunks. I know not a lot of people like the fact that he's beefier than he's supposed to be. However, I want to say it is not as bad as I thought it would be. It actually looks really good. I do agree the chest, like the shirt, for example, should have been a little higher so his chest doesn't look so big. But it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Like, it actually looks really good in my opinion. And I think the picture also is because the top of his torso was like crunched a little, so it made things look worse. Because I myself, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't sure if I was going to get this, was because of the proportions of the muscle mass. Like, the proportions themselves look really good, but I mean the muscle mass, I was like, Trunks is not that big. But in my opinion, in my respective opinion, I think I prefer this look, the way he looks here, rather than demoniacal fit. Because demoniacal fit, for example, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very faithful to SH Figure Arts, right? Because the scale is another thing to talk about. And I will bring something to scale him with in a sec after the articulation. But overall, I know it kind of has its quirks, but I actually am very happy with the way the figure looks. Right off the bat, I want to say. Okay, and really quickly before, I'm just going to insert the clip of me comparing heights in the middle of the articulation and like reviewing the actual figure, because I may or may not have forgotten to actually record the clip, so this is editor me putting this in. As you can see, this is the Cell Games Goku with DKO head sculpt, so the hair, it'll be a little different, like different size than like the one that comes with the actual figure. But in terms of scaling, it is not as bad as I think people are making it out to be. Yes, he is actually like a little taller. You can see his shoulder is about to his chin right here. I thought it would be worse. It does kind of bother me a little bit, and if that really bothers you, like it completely destroys your want to buy this figure, I get it. I do think he should have been a little shorter. However, if you don't mind as much, I do think still, if you want to go for him, he's not that much taller than Cell Games Goku, and Cell Games Goku is essentially like the new standard for like many releases coming for Tamashi. The Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue Goku are going to be on a pretty similar body, I'm assuming. So this will be like the standard scale. It's not that bad. I think if you guys still are looking into buying this figure and scale is an issue for you or like a concern, it's not that big of a deal, I will say. If it bothers you, like I said, don't purchase it. But if you guys are willing, it's honestly not that big. So just go for the figure. And that was the comparison. Now let's get back to the to reviewing Trunks. With that out of the way, now let's get into articulation. And move the lamp a little, I should say. And here we go. He looks really good, that's for sure. Like, he looks really good. Now, let's get into the neck movement. Something I will say is, I never really understood the way Tonson would cut his figures in terms of right here around the neck area. It looks a little confusing, but it functions well. So, articulation versus, aesthetic. It's a debate a lot of collectors have. Some people prefer the aesthetic, some people prefer just pure articulation. No matter what the joint looks like, it's up to preference. But anyways, now let's get onto articulation. Okay, let's bend his neck down as far as it can go without the face popping off. That is really good. Look right into his chest. What about back? That is also pretty good. I will say though, there is a bit of gapping right here around the faces. It's not the worst thing ever, but it is kind of noticeable. I love Tonson. I actually really love Tonson. However, I will not recommend a figure without actually stating that it does have negative things to it. The gapping is a little bothersome, but it's not the worst thing ever. That was the neck. Let's go with, ooh, you guys hear that? Pretty squeaky. Shoulder articulation can go, I'm trying to see if it can go a little farther. No. Okay. Right here. That far. Other shoulder. Actually, it can go a little farther. Yeah, all you have to do is pull right here, pull this butterfly joint area, and he can get pretty above 90. That's actually pretty good. Now, something I will say is, like with any other figure, I recommend if it's too tight, do not mess with it. Get some shock oil first. It's 100% silicone shock oil. I myself don't have some. I have to get some for sure. But I do recommend if it's too tight to the point where it feels like it's gonna break, don't mess with it. Oil it up first. Pause. And then we have the bicep swivel, which is not too tight, can move around, but it is squeaky. Then we got the elbow joints, which looks very good. It looks very natural. Of course, then we have the wrists and Tonson's signature forearm swivel, which is not a whole lot, but it actually can help to get like pretty good photos, for example. Same with this arm, bicep swivel, can go 360, but I don't want to do it, the whole 360. Again, elbow, and then finally wrist, along with the forearm swivel. Arm articulation is good. It could be a little better, but the way I think Tonson sculpts his articulations, like his joints, I think he accounts for both aesthetics and articulation, so I'm not going to complain too much, but it could have been a little better. Now, in terms of torso, move his arms a little out of the way. Let's go forward. That is really good. It has a bit of gapping. I know that was one of the points of contention for the Cell Games Goku, but it's not that bad. You can see the inside of the joints though, if you pay attention enough. So if you don't want to crunch them the whole way, you don't have to, but it gets pretty good crunch. Now back, not the worst thing ever. It could have been a little better though. Okay, let's fix up his arms. put him back. I will say, I definitely should get some shock coil because his joints are not super tight, but tight enough where it's a little fidgety to move his joints around. His face is so cool. Okay, now for the legs. These are seemingly just pretty standard 3.0 legs, so move his arms out of the way. Forward, 90. Down to the side. Ooh. Okay. I'll admit, I messed around with him before I did the review, right? Of course, because I was kind of excited. So I do know he felt good. Like, it doesn't feel insanely loose. He doesn't feel insanely tight. It's like just above in the tight range to where he just feels really firm. But his articulation seems really good so far. And then knee joint, pretty good. Again, for the third leg. I mean, whoa. That was a Freudian slip. For the other leg, I meant to say 90, forward to the side, a little past 90. Again, knee joint, pretty good. And so far, there doesn't seem to be any tolerance issues with my copy. So safe to say, I think they probably bettered the QC a little on these. I'm still going to get some shock oil because I am a little scared. Because if anything feels tight, you know, it's better to, you know, oil it up a little. Now, in terms of the shoes, nothing super special about the shoes. It's plastic, but then it is also painted, so it looks matte. And the ankles, you know, nothing too crazy. He does seem to have the legendary Super Saiyan ankles, which is pretty good range, pretty decent. And then back, oh, that's the toe hinge. Back, up, not too much because the shoe cut gets in the way. Again, forward, pretty good forward. And back could have been a little better, but you know, I won't complain too much. Toe hinge, both, pretty good. Okay. That is his articulation. I will say though, I think my his ankles are a little tighter, so it's a little hard to get him in his respective positioning sometimes. And his torso, oh, that irks me. The fact that the torso sometimes looks a little slanted. There we go. Oh. Now that should be, there we go. Okay, much better. So, in terms of everything, do I think this is a worthy purchase so far? Yes, it is honestly a very earnest yes. The sculpt is good. Of course, preference-wise, you know, DF can be a better option for you if you're on a tight budget or, you know, you just don't want to spend too much. Because right now on AliExpress, I want to say he's going for about like $80, which is not nothing. You know, that's pretty close to 100, and $100 is quite a lot for a figure. I got him luckily for $69. Nice. So in my case, I think it's a little more worth it because I was able to pay a pretty moderate price. Like, it was a pretty fair price for this figure, in terms of accessories, you know, the sculpt and everything. So I'm very happy with him. I will 100% keep him. I don't ever plan to resell this. I think it is one of the best figures now in my collection. I really do like it. The negatives, he can be a little tight. I think just get a little bit of shock oil, of course. I think companies should get used to maybe like lubing up the joints a little before they send out, you know, the figures. Any other negatives? I still think he could have been slightly slimmer. Just ever so slightly, but honestly, that's just preference. The neck articulation is good. I mean, the articulation overall is good. There doesn't seem to be any like missing matte finish. There is a bit of flashing, I will say. Like, for example, here on the shoulder. See if the camera picks that up. Yeah, right there. Ever so slightly. There. Yeah, there we go. Ever so slightly a bit of flashing. Which for the price point, I do expect it to be very, very clean. However, it's not bad. The flashing is not like disgustingly horrible or anything. Overall, if you guys plan to buy this figure, I highly recommend it. I really do. I will put links in the description. I will do the posing segment in a bit here. And I will start taking photos, like toy photography. I'm actually going to start doing toy photography on my Instagram account. And go ahead and follow if you guys like to. But back to talking points, it is worth it. The value of the accessories are there. There is 2 different color schemes. I got the anime version, so if this is still available, I'll link you guys to it. If not, this thing is selling kind of fast, so I will say if you plan on buying this, like for sure, no matter what, buy it like now because it will sell out. It's already starting to sell out in several stores. Comment down below what you guys think. Any points that you guys want to make over DF or Tonson. I think DF and Tonson for this release are honestly pretty close. They're actually very close. Comment down below which one you guys plan to purchase or which one you guys are thinking of purchasing. Honestly, comment anything. Like, subscribe. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys later. Hope you guys stick around.